Hello, everyone. Um, how is everyone? Hope everyone is okay. Oh, excuse the mess there. Oh, let's kill that. Hang on. Yeah, let's not have some echo. um, Tell you what, let's jump over to this two chat because you don't want to sit there. Ah, that's better. Bit tidier, isn't that? Um, so, some interesting things today. Obviously, I put the Arcooda word up there, but there's two or three bits to go through, and then Q&A, and then people have started putting in. Someone's asked me a question about tariffs. I'll get to that. Right. So, first things, probably really important. Now, as part of the journey, you all know we've got we're working with a company in Australia called Arcooda, who are well known for making some very nice panel systems to use in arcade machines. And before the project was launched, I spoke to them, said would they be interested in doing a custom version for the monitor. The idea being that it would give you an option of we have to make certain compromises to get a reasonable price and kind of balance up the price, quality, etc., etc. I went for an IPS panel, which looks, everyone who sees it loves it, and it looks fantastic, and everything plays brilliant on it. But there's some technical issues, like it's only 31 kilohertz, and so to get 15 kilohertz into it, we have to go through a custom scaler board. And part of the Arcooda brief was to have a native 15 kilohertz signal. And they've been working in the background on this. Obviously, it's not a full-time thing for them, but it's something they're working on because it's really complex. People think, oh, I'll just look down a list and I'll buy a panel and jobs are good. And it doesn't work like that. The world of panels is a nightmare, especially these aspect ratios. Widescreen, get what you like, but these panels, it's really complicated. So, but anyway, so they came back to me yesterday, and I thought I'd share this. And again, this is not we're at the end, but they have actually, they basically built a test rig. They got a really nice 19-inch panel in. And they tested it with their custom hardware, and they apparently took it to a company that specialises in arcade equipment, and they were blown away by this panel. So I have no specifics I'm going to quote. All right, so if you expected me to tell you, features this, that, and the other, I'm not quoting anything like that. But what they've done is they've come up with a lot of questions, and I've gone back with a lot of answers, and we're just kind of discussing now. How do we tune this? Now, one of the problems with this panel, it's a lot thicker. So it's going to need a custom, if we go for this one, it's going to need a custom bezel. But there's a couple more that are coming in, which should fit as standard. But we're going to go for the best panel. There's no point doing it otherwise, is there? You get the best one you can get. Now, on the plus side, you get native 15 kilohertz. They're also talking about 24 kilohertz as well, which I know for some people is really, really, really interesting. Again, this is not confirmation. This is what we're discussing, and obviously 31 kilohertz. But there are negatives. So we're just trying to work out balance. Again, this whole compromise thing. Don't think for 1 minute that you're going to get all the features that we give you in the standard monitor on the new one, but just native 15 kilohertz. Again, it doesn't work like that, but we're going to give as much as we can. The key thing people wanted was that 15 kilohertz display with a custom board, and that is now in progress. If we go for the let's call it the fat panel, it does mean there's going to have to be a new tool made for the 90 to cut a custom bezel. Now, I've agreed we're going to split the cost. The issue for me is, obviously, it's a cost. And I know I bang on about this all the time, but I'll come back to the payments thing later on. But anyway, so it's good news. They've got one there. They're testing there now. Things are starting to move forward because they realise obviously I start shipping in a few weeks, in about 2 or 3 weeks. So they obviously want to follow on with it now. One thing you can do for me, I mean, a lot of people watch this after the event. So if what I'd like people to do is, now I know there's a number of people, there's about 70 people who have pre-ordered the Arcooda chassis. And basically what that means is they get the chassis and all the bits, and then it'll go to well, we haven't decided how we're going to do it, if I ship it to them and they assemble and ship out, or if they get separate and then they come together. But I know there's 70 people there, and I've turned off the Arcooda because and a lot of people have took my advice, buy the standard panel, and you can always upgrade, okay? Because it's not a bad way of doing it. You get the full working system, and then you can upgrade later on. And some people are going to buy a second one. So what would be really useful? Send me an email. I mean, I could set up a web page with a poll and all this kind of stuff, but send me an email if you're serious. You like if you're in that 60, 70 people who've already ordered. Well, you can do it anyway to say I've ordered it. But if you want to be on the list, if you're serious about the Arcooda version, send me an email, and what we do is we'll collate them, and we'll get a list, because it's be good to know how many people are actually really interested. Now, this is only a sample of people, obviously, because there's obviously a lot of people out there that aren't seeing these videos. But just to give us an idea, so if it's something that you really wanted, send us the email. Now, cost, it's going to be a lot more expensive, okay? You can add $400 on top at least. It's going to add, because these are very niche panels, and it is what it is, but people want that. It's more expensive. But as for specs, I'm not going to give you them, right? Because I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be yet. All I know is native 15 kilohertz and the same kind of quality as their previous panels. That's it at the moment. We are working on integration, so you keep the back plane, but how much of the functionality we're trying to sort out at the moment. But it is, we are making progress. Well, they're making progress. Which I'm really pleased to hear, and I thought I'd share it with you because it's been very quiet. But I've got a document, I've got the pictures, I've got everything, I've seen the stuff they're working on, which is really good news. So that's just an update on the Arcooda. Yes, I've got the office now, it's empty. I've got a little video. It's a bit nice. I tried to get it to run in OCS. Is it OCS? OBS, sorry. I tried to get it running in OBS, but I thought, because I took it like that, and it's gone like that, and I didn't have time to turn it. So I'm going to show you it in my browser. Hopefully you can hear it, but it doesn't matter. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Right. Okay. So here we go. Now, I'm not sure if you actually can hear this, but basically what I'm doing is I always show the kitchen. As you can see now, you can see the holes. That's where all the monitors are going to go for an hour. They're going to get soak tested in there, as you can see. Yeah, backwards and forwards. I don't know if you can hear this. I'm probably talking over myself. Right, so here's the where we do the order process. We've got a very small amount of space, but then look at this. So shelving where we can put parts, and I'm just gonna pretend that you can't hear this because I can't tell if you can or not. We do not hear. Oh, okay, good. Right. So basically, as you can see. All that packaging, all the cardboard there, that's going to be put in I've got another location. We're going to store all that stuff. So basically in this office I can get about 550 monitors, 600 monitors, plus all those shelving for parts. So that gives you an idea. So it's going to be very, very tight. But as I said, I do have secondary storage, like a cache, where I can store other stuff. But so it's going to be really hard work. I have looked for a new office, but unfortunately, I saw two. One was unsuitable, and the other one was stupidly expensive. And it was just too soon for them. We've got to see if we can. If this is a success and it does really well, then we'll look into getting a bigger unit. But at the moment, we're just going to make this work. And my lease runs out on this in about 11 months as well, so I have to make decisions about that. So all those boxes are going to go. All those parts there for the cases, my Checkmate cases, and that's all Checkmate casings parts. As you can see, so it's all ready, and that's basically. I just thought you might find that interesting. Let's kill that now. Come back to here. So the office is as ready as it can be. It's going to be a squeeze. It is going to be a squeeze, but I've done this before, and I've got someone coming in to help me for the next 2 or 3 months. So it's going to be 2 of us in there processing all this. Hopefully, if it continues, then I can take him on full time. If not, it'll be part time. It'll just as needed. So that'll help. The plan is to get all these 600 monitors out the door in a month, because the next lot will then come along pretty soon after. And we've got another 2 containers to come. So, we're trying to... it's going to be interesting, let's put it that way. So that's the office. I've got some notes here. Okay, so there's a couple of little things. So I suppose one of the things is... some people get confused about this monitor. They think it's just a monitor. It's not. It's not just a monitor. This is an all-in-one computer without the computer, if that makes any sense whatsoever. The idea is we've built a platform that you can customize the hell out of this monitor and do whatever you want with it. You can buy it as standard and just use it as a monitor, or you can plug a card in and turn it into an Amiga, with an FPGA Amiga, or put a Mister in it, or you can put a Raspberry Pi in it. We've also got, as you know, got Pandora coming, so it's basically a platform. Because they kind of get a bit frustrated, people saying that, the cost. It's it's the bane of my life. So much work, and also I've actually spoken to, and now you probably saw Happy's around. I will mention this. We're looking into. It's not guaranteed, but we're looking into a way of, because a lot of people have asked me, can we turn it into a terminal? Like a serial terminal. And so we're looking into that. There is an open source system that we might be able to use, and obviously I'll speak to them and a little bit of handshaking, that kind of thing, but if we do it, we're trying to figure out the best way to do it, because it'd only be a tiny little circuit. So that's potential are going to hopefully come along. So there's so much this monitor's going to be able to do, and I'm hoping it inspires people like the cases did. With the cases, people were making lots of parts that go inside, customizing it and so on. So there's a lot of work to be done on that. One thing that's kind of, people moan, oh, you're moaning about the not paying. It really is. Now look, let's be clear on this. So what we've had for ages, a huge chunk of money has been sat in a bank account, and it's basically there to pay for getting all the parts over and shipping them out to the people who've paid. Okay, that money's sitting there. But because we're still waiting on probably 150, 200 people to pay their balances, it's kind of constraining some of the things we want to do. So, for example, I'll give an example. One of the things I want to do, I want to fly out to China again. take a load of hardware with me in a big massive suitcase, some of the key parts, sit down with the firmware, the guys who are doing the firmware, and even more tune the display for the SCART and SCART input, okay, to really fine tune that to get that, you know, even better than it is. I mean, it's pretty good now, and you can make up for it with the GPS control. You can fine tune it, but what we want to do is get that even now. But they need sample hardware, but I'm loath to spend the money for the flight to go out. I'm gonna have to wait for later on because you know, and it's just, you know, this is a small operation, so my main concern is the money's there for shipping so we can get your products out to you. But what we need is people, again, to be paying their balances. Now, the good news is people are pre-ordering, okay, which is great. Not a huge number, but people are pre-ordering. A lot of people, I think, are waiting for the first lot to go out to see if it lives up to the hype, which I hope you agree with us that it is a great product and you tell people. And then we can get them the message. Because, as you know, I'm not doing an awful lot of promotion. So I do very little promotion. That will ramp up soon, but at the moment I'm keeping it because I want to get these out to you. Anyway, so if you haven't paid, please pay. I get people every now and then coming in and saying, "Oh, sorry, I haven't been able to." Yeah, but it'd be good if you could just get your balance, because most people it's next to nothing. It's like 120 quid plus shipping. It's not an awful lot, but it will make a difference once you know. It'll help. Anyway, enough of that moaning again. Right. Right, let's go into Q&A now. Let's have a look at your questions. First question. Yeah, great question. Not really, but hey. Tariffs. America. God. Let me explain how tariffs work. So, what happens is, we'll ship it from here. It'll get there. If Trump puts on a tariff on products from here, you will pay it, not us. We're not paying it. It's not us paying it. Now, later on, if we get a distributor, our price to them will be as it always is. They'll have to add on the tariff and bill you for it. I'm sorry? That's it. Okay? So, it can't be absorbed. Well, for one thing, we don't even know. Apparently, it's a 20% tariff. It's like you paying VAT, like we do. That's the way I'm looking at it. So good luck with that. I don't want to be political, but good luck. I can't do anything about that, all right? Now, my aim is to ship these out as quick as I can. The first 600 will go out pretty quick. As soon as the second container arrives, we'll ship them out. But if your president decides to put tariffs on everything, because he's saying he's going to put it on us as well, you're going to have to pay. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. But to be fair, it's a bit like, as I said, it's a bit like us. We put VAT on it, 20%. So you know, but that's nothing I can do about that. For display, we'll be able to add scan lines with the scaler. Yes. Or we'll need something else. No, you don't need a RetroTink. The whole point of this is you don't need a RetroTink. Now, can it compete with the quality of the RetroTink? I mean, it's good. It's bloody good. Is it as good as a RetroTink? No. It can't be, right? Because that's an amazing product. But most people won't tell the difference. They'll just go, wow, that looks good. Because I know that, because lots of people have seen it. Lots of people have come along and they've had a go on it and they go, wow, that's good. There are, as I said, I've aimed it at the 90%, and there's a 10% who are much, much more critical. If you do need that, you want that RetroTink 4K bits, you need to get a 4K monitor for one thing. This isn't a 4K monitor. But I would put it this way, I would put it up against the original RetroTink. They did one called the Mini, because I've got one upstairs and I've compared it. You can't tell the difference, okay? I mean, you know, you can't really tell the difference. I'm sure if you're really critical and you get like down to it, you possibly could. 4K, different thing entirely, different beast. You need a 4K monitor. This isn't a 4K monitor. Wasted. So, and that's not because I've got a lot of respect for the RetroTink products. It's brilliant. But of course, it costs more than the monitor. So there you go. Did the black coloured monitors leave yet? Not yet. They're probably going on a boat. They should be pretty much ready in a week, something like that. I haven't actually spoken to them yet, but they already had 400 made, and they've got everything else they need. So that I think it's about another week, maybe two. Then they get put on a boat, in the same 6 weeks again. So they're not far behind. I'm actually working on the third shipment, and so that, but I'll update you on that on when the next one is. Yes, on the scaler, yeah. So in GPS control, you can turn on scan lines. There's a scan line setting. You can turn it on, and you can simulate the effect of scan lines. I'm not a fan, but it's there if you want it. There's a lot of other stuff as well. You can do in it. You need to look up on GPS control. Yeah, App is in the house. He's looking a lot better. He's still very sleepy a lot, but he is getting better. Oh, look, lots of love for Appy again. Anyone getting sound? Hello. Oh yeah. Oh, there we go. Greens. Hello. Hey Steve. Oh, okay. When's the container with? Yeah, I've already answered that. About turnaround to be as fast as they arrive. Well, we're going to find out how quick we are, because at the moment, the first ones arriving, at the moment, they're quoting me the 2nd of December, which is literally in 2 weeks. We're going to find out how fast I can turn it around. I'm trying to get as many out as I can for Christmas. That's my, obviously, white ones. Get as many out as I can for Christmas. And obviously doing it in order. And we'll find out. Okay, I'll give you an update as we go along. I'll give you an update how we're getting on, how many we shipped and so on. But I can only do it so fast, and this is why I've got some coming in to help me, so we can go through it a bit quicker. Should be able to do. I'm hoping we can turn around 50 a day. Which so. Camera's gone to sleep again. But we'll have to wait and see, because we want to put them. I'm working on the basis we want to leave them on. So we're basically going to get not build, because they come built and tested. So then we'll configure each order. Let me explain this. So we'll configure each monitor for a customer with their invoice, and we'll stick the invoice and put the monitor on it, plug it in, and leave it on for an hour. Yeah, and we've got 10 bays all set up, ready to go, so we can test 10 at a time for an hour. So in theory, once you take them out, you put them in a box. I've streamlined the whole shipping process. Literally press a button and it prints out a label. Much easier. We should be able to turn around up to 50 per day. Not initially, probably a bit slow the first couple of days, but hopefully we'll get up to 50 a day, which means we should be able to get the first. I can't promise we get them all out before Christmas, but we'll definitely get them out in December. But my aim is to get as many out before Christmas as possible. So that's that. Would it be possible to upgrade to the Arcooda monitor if my original order with the IPS panel hasn't shipped yet? I wouldn't. I'd rather you didn't, because one of the reasons for telling people to get the standard monitor is just in case there's any issues with it. You're better off sticking with the standard monitor. We will do upgrades. I honestly think when people get these monitors, they're not going to bother. Right? It's only the people who think I must have 15 kilohertz native. I must have this one. It's a bit like I do a lot of off-roading, and the big thing about it is the weight. The type of the bike and so on and so forth. I ride one of these. My one's a little bit bigger than that one. But I also have one of these. But I can't do most of the riding. I don't do on now. I do it on the 890. So but I'm looking for something like in the middle. Then I can go out, because the big ones, okay, when you got with your couple of mates, something. So if you do drop it, which I've only dropped it once, touch wood. The little one I drop all the time. But it's a bit like that. It's, sometimes people think they need, I need this, that, and the other. When you get the monitor, no one has seen the monitor and said, oh God, no, I need the Arcooda. No one. Even people who know about the Arcooda. Everyone said, oh no, that's fine. So, bear that in mind. Is the resolution of the Arcooda panel the same? I can't confirm or deny. I don't know. Nothing's, because there's 3 panels. So I don't really want to talk about specs. I just want to talk about the fact that progress is being made. Can you address the question some of us have about... Can you address the question some of us have about those of us that use bank transfers right away when you asked, not being part of the initial shipment of monitors based on your invoice numbers? Yes, okay. So about 1,000 people paid by bank transfer. Bear that in mind. I've only got 600 monitors come in. So the only issue at the moment is that I'm going to go through. So obviously if you've ordered a white one, which is 65, 2/3 of people ordered white. Okay, 2/3. So an awful lot of people are going to get their monitor in order. It's all going to be in order. However, there will be some who ordered black. I can't send out a black monitor until the black monitor's right. But some that ordered a white and a black. That's the key thing. If people ordered both, we're looking into whether we can split the order. Okay, that's the thing we're looking into, because at the moment, because it depends on I'm still waiting for my new rate. I've got a new rates, my new rates to go live, so we can test this and to see exactly how this is gonna work out. Because the one thing we can't afford to do is we can't afford to lose money on shipping. We just can't. So I can't ship things. But if what you paid means I can split and send one and you get one, and then send the other when the other one arrives, if that's the case, then we will do that. Okay. If it's a case that we've got a customer, because don't forget, it's not a huge amount of, it's probably about 10-15% of people, say 10, who've got one of each colour. Okay, so it's a very small number of people. Most have ordered one, either black or white. If it's a case of if it's a scenario like, okay, well, we've got you're in the order, but you ordered a black and white one, but the shipping separately is a lot more than we've charged you. We can't do that. But what we can do is say, okay, look, to ship them separately is going to be this price. If you want to contribute the extra, we'll split them. Okay, but I'm not losing money on I can't afford to lose money on shipping. Obviously that money is there and it's to ship products, but as I said, if there's enough in what we've charged you to split, because it's volumetric, it's very, very important to understand. For most outside of, well, it's basically volumetric. I'm actually going to get a bit turned over actually, because my rates are slightly, now it doesn't matter, but it is volumetric. Okay, so but it's not like 2 monitors 50% of the cost. It doesn't work that way. But there is a volumetric increase for 2 monitors. So it might be that, for example, if it's going to Australia and we've charged a set amount, it's quite a lot of money, and it was actually turns out to be half that price to send a single one, then we can split them and we can do that. But that's something I've got to sort out in probably next week or the week after, once I've got my rates live. Once once the latest rates are live, and then we can sort that out. But at the moment, everyone's ordered white. Obviously, if you're within that number, you'll get it. If everyone who's black, if black's next shipment, sorry, I wasn't going to rush it because they had a problem. We always have problems with black ones, but they redid everything. They redid the tooling for me to make it as good as possible. So I'm not really worried about that. I'd rather you get a better product. But again, if we can split, we'll do that. Right, let's move on. So basically, these Arcooda monitors have way less lag than standard monitor. Nah, they will. I don't know what the lag figures are, but look, you got to look on GBS control. The lag on that. Look, no one ever notices the lag. Lots of people have played on games on the monitor, and no one said, "Oh, that's a bit laggy." Yeah, no one's said that, and so it's a bit like armchair technology kind of thing, isn't it? You know, when you actually got it in front of you and you're playing on it, it's fine. You don't even notice it. I've never noticed any lag. Now we've done the tests, so we have the actual figures, which you can watch my lag video. But these will be there's bound to be a lag on it, but it's bound to be better because it's not going through the scaler. It's going direct to the panel because it's native 15 kilohertz. So if you're putting 15 kilohertz in, it's going native. Okay, and that's the idea of that panel. As for the quality of display, it will be at least as good. Hopefully, maybe better. I haven't seen it. But I mean, our panels are great. Anyway, right. I ordered the Arcooda options same time as IPS panel. Hopefully, there will be a straightforward way to get a second monitor with Arcooda. Yeah, don't worry. If you've ordered, because I've actually turned that option off now. But as I said, there's about 65 people that have pre-ordered a chassis. And I'm not quite sure if it's how it's going to work. Whether they're going, it's probably easy for them to send me the parts, I assemble and then ship. It's probably better that way. But again, we don't know what the costs are going to come to. You know, there's, but that's kind of later on in next year. Once we get to that stage. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the answers on it yet. All I'm pleased about is there's progress being made. They've got panels, whereas they spent the last year and just real problems getting panels, small 19-inch panels. It's been an absolute nightmare. Team checkmate. Suggest covering the bottom windows so people cannot see the monitors. Oh, sorry. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Right. So basically, you've seen it with the open doors. There's a massive shutter, huge shutter that comes down and covers the whole front up. No one's getting in there, and the whole place has got security cameras and everything. So don't worry about that. The box looks really nice. Yes. Has any more people paid their dues? About 5 since the last video. 4 maybe. Yeah, see, someone wants to use this terminal. Yeah, I mean, look, again, app is under instructions. When you're well, when you want to do it, we'll make the prototype and test it. But it's not a priority. It is something we want to do because a lot of people have asked. I think it'd be pretty cool. But what we're worried about, we don't want to waste a whole pod because the board itself probably be about that big. So putting it on a whole pod, wasting a pod, seems a bit silly. So we're looking into other avenues, different ways of doing it. But that's something that Appy can work on. He likes that kind of thing. No payer to the bottom of the list. No payer. I don't know what you mean by no payer to the bottom of the list. Oh, got it. Right. Okay, now let me cover that, right? There's the two. So everyone, once you've paid, you get your place in the queue. So there are a lot of pre-orders that are potentially jumping in front of people who haven't paid their balance. And I don't care about that. However, there is a different type of person. And there's only about 30 of these left now. But there are the people that paid initially, right at the beginning, by credit card. And then the credit cards are pulled. And then because they've already got their invoice number. So through no fault of their own, right, we had to refund it. Okay. They've still got their place in the queue. So if they do pay it, there's about 30 people. If they do pay it, I'm going to honour it. No, I know I don't think you should upset people because they did try and pay it. They paid it. That's life. But there's a very small number. The rest of them haven't even bothered connecting to the site, which is, you know. I tried to buy one of Jeff's. What's his VGA? Oh, okay, right, yeah, okay. So obviously, if Happy's building this, we're obviously not going to ship anything that doesn't work. It's a good question because I was talking to you about USB, but it's unlikely we'll do USB. It's probably going to have to be PS2 keyboard and mouse. Because that would be simpler circuitry. It's an interesting point. That's probably what it's going to have to be. A fully integrated terminal solution that didn't need separate power cables. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it'd be great fun. I mean, you know, how many people are going to use it? I don't know. I mean, and will people buy this monitor to use as a terminal? I don't know. But it does a load of other things as well. So, you know, it's just to add another feature. Home Computer Museum in Helmond, Netherlands ordered one. Yeah. I'm definitely going to test it with a bunch of my machines. Good. Tariffs are not going to happen for months if they happen. Every backer should have their mind long. That's the plan. Going forward, when he's threatening to do it on day one, I don't know how people have accepted that because he sold it. I'm going to get political, but he sold it telling Americans that he's going to get the Chinese to pay it. They're not going to pay it. The Americans are going to pay it. It will just, you know. Anyway, how long until the white ones arrive? December the 2nd. If I wanted to put in a mini PC and power it with the internal USB, how many amps can it draw? Okay. If you can get a PC small enough, which they should in theory be able to get a small enough one to get in, you can draw 5 amps on 5 volts. Okay, that's 5 amps, maximum 5 amps. The app is probably going to be saying to me, yeah, I mean, 5 amps should be enough. But we're basing this on to be honest, we've always thought of this as being more of a Raspberry Pi thing or an ARM system. You don't want to put an Intel or a Ryzen chip in it. You don't want to do anything like that because you're not going to give it the power it needs. But I'm not going to get too technical on this because Appy's going to shoot me in the face. But you get 5 amps, 5 volts, 5 amps. So that's where we are with that. I had emailed about changing to black, added note on the site, but no confirmation. If you're this happens very rarely. Every single one where people have asked me to switch, I've done it. And it should send you a message because I always add a note. So I suggest you go into your order and have a look at the order. If it's still the same color, email me. If you didn't get a response from me saying I'll do it, because what I would have said, although you mentioned about adding a note to the site, yeah, everyone that's done a note on the site, I have changed it. If I haven't done yours, email me direct and I'll do it. It takes me about a minute. I don't have a problem changing the colors. All right, there's absolutely no problem changing colours. Most people seem to be changing from white to black, but you know that's fine. If you want to change it and check your order, just look on the order, look and see if it's now the colour you want. That's what I say. First Brexit, now possibly US tariffs. You can't catch a break. I know, right? The one time I get a product that seems to be successful. Yeah, there's always something in there. But anyway, it's something we've got to deal with. Health is health on an upward slope? I would say yes. He looks better. He's very sleepy all the time, so you know. Now I've got to order another. My Amiga will be lonely if I don't. My health is on and up. Oh, he's answered that himself. Look, riding a motorcycle can be dangerous. Don't do anything stupid, please. Is the standard panel glossy? I'm planning where. Not really. No, not really. It's not. No, it's not glossy. No. Simple answer to that one. Okay, I ordered both a black and white monitor, and I'm okay with delaying the shipment to get them at the same time. Okay, thank you. Makes life a lot easier. But as I said, if we can ship and we don't lose money on the shipping, I know it sounds cold. I can't. If we do it without losing money, because as I said, it's only like a little bit of difference because it's volumetric. So when you add another monitor, you double the volume. So as long, but there's like a 60% for the first and 40% for the second, if that makes sense. So if there's enough money in there so we can send it twice, then I'd like to do that because it's good because we can get all these monitors out the door, clear for the next lot. Question. So when the black ones arrive, will you ship them in preference to outstanding white ones until the invoice is numbered? I don't think that's going to work out. Well, yes. I mean, because the way it works is, as I mark them off, at a certain point, the invoices that we're looking at are going to be largely black. That is going to be the case because it's 2/3 white, 1/3 black, and it's been like that for ages. So once we ship 600, that's 50%. Then there's going to be a whole load of black ones we'll be skipping over, and then we'll just go through the black ones, and it'll just be going through in order. We're not going to artificially bring any black ones forward if we're going to do them in order. And when we can't ship one, it just sits there at the beginning of the queue, constantly at the beginning of the queue until we got black ones, and then we just do all the black ones. So it'll work out. As a Super Mario World, oh god, okay. As a Super Mario World veteran, I'll know right away how much input lag there is. Yeah, well, okay. So first, you don't mention what you're playing it on. I have done the tests. If you should already have seen my video on lag, so you should know the lag. And to be honest, just for the record, I have had professional gamer came up to the stand and played it. And which I did at the time. I was like, you make money. Old. And he didn't notice the lag and said he doesn't care. He says he just adjusts. But he was happy with it. So, you know. Again, it's not as good as the Tink. It's going to be better. We know that. Sonic on Mega Drive should be the ultimate test, shouldn't it? Yeah, I guess so. I think we've had Mega Drive on it. You're better off if you're going in RGB. I will tell you that. If you're going to go in composite, there's going to be a little bit more lag. Again, it's covered in my video. I did all the tests, okay? But if you go in RGB, then it goes in through the scaler, which means it goes through GBS control, which is really good at reducing lag. Okay, so that's the best way of running through RGB. SCART RGB, which I know the Mega Drive there is a cable for that, because I think I've tested it on one. If you run it on like RF, well, don't. But even that, in fact, funny enough, when Peter was doing the test with the Mega, because it was running, I think it was a Mega Drive, running through. Yeah, it was Mega Drive, and it was running, and we was doing Sonic. He didn't say about the lag, so it seems fine. That one too, though I am much more familiar with SMW, having played it on a CRT LCD emulating original hardware. Lag gauge. Battletoads would be another one. Yeah, I as I said, I'm not a gamer. Okay, I do hardware, but we've done everything we can to reduce it. Thinking aloud, I bet people who want an integrated terminal will probably also want a Pi. Maybe owner of the Pi Pod would be a reason. Well, look, if you're going to put a Pi in there, you might as well use that. Use that as a terminal. This is just a simple serial terminal. Probably more expensive than putting a Pi in it, but yeah. Sure, I want a Pi 2, but I want a native text-based 80 by 25 full screen, instant on, operating system-led solution that will create a true vintage. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the idea. I don't know about instant on, because when you turn the monitor on, I think it takes about 5 seconds to start, 4 or 5 seconds. It's not going to come on instantly because it's got to get itself going, but obviously then it'll be like that. I think a Pi itself could make... Yeah, I mean, the Pi could probably boot up nice and quick. This is one of those things where people are going to use it and then find the ways of getting exactly what they want. I tried using Cool Retro Term in combination with Minicom. It works, but I cannot fit any full side screen modes that will land on 80/25. Okay. Yeah, this is going to be one of those where the monitor's going to probably go, oh, okay, I'll shove that in there. And this is the other thing, reason for going to China, to take some hardware, because every now and then the firmware is going to get updated, and then the firmware for the slot 0, and then you'll just be able to download it and plug it in the back and update the firmware, and will improve the handling of the what are you going to call it, the power and NTSC modes. They're the ones that are going to get the others, the 800, 600, 644, 80. They're standard modes, and they just go bang. So if it outputs is 64480, which I'm guessing it would, or 640 whatever, then it'll ping it straight. But if they try and put it out in the PAL mode, it'll drop it in the middle. Or if they try, we're going to find out. Oh, hang on. Both native terminal on the pod. Yeah. Email sent for black update. Yeah, okay, great, no problem. I assume Ghetto Finger Gaming that you've put a note on your order on my system as well. Because if I've missed it, sorry. But as far as I'm aware, I've done every single one converted. Now, if you didn't get a response from me, maybe I'm not getting the email. But yeah, can't. But if I haven't responded to it, if you've sent the email. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Right, I've got your email. I'll have a look at that tomorrow. Well, assuming your name is Gino. Right. But I looked at it. There's a whole thread on that. You missed this one from Mark. If we will be able to, for God's sake, buy Arcooda kit, what is the reason we can't buy a 17 kit? You cannot have an Arcooda in 17. It's taken 1.5 years to get a 19-inch. There is never, ever going to be a 17-inch Arcooda. It's just not happening. Unless you want to chop up 15 grand for the tool, because it's $15,000 for a tool. So there is no 17-inch. It's only going to be 19-inch. Sorry about that. But it's telling me every second 1 month. It doesn't have to be full Linux. Okay, I try on my end. Sleep time for yeah. No, out. Happy. I've got to go. Thanks for the update. What is the time? Oh, bloody hell, it's 10:02. Yeah, Gina, good. Okay, yeah, I'll sort that. I think I've already done it, but I'll. No, not Arcooda regular. Have I misread it? Sorry, I'm just going through these. Not Arcooda regular. Mark, where's the other message? Yeah, sorry, I'm probably okay. So if you want a 17-inch, if you're talking about the standard monitor, the standard panels, if you want to switch to a 17, that's fine, no problem whatsoever. I may at some point stop doing the 17s. I don't know yet. We've made 250 bezels, and we've sold 64 17-inch out of 1500. You can see this. Not many people want it. So I've got 250, and we can always buy bezels. So it's gonna be. It's always a bit of a nightmare, but you know, because you'll only be able to get them from me. You won't be able to get them from this. Once we go into distribution, you won't be able to get a 17 in from a distributor. It'll have to be direct from us because we're gonna hand assemble them anyway. That's just the 17 kit. If you want it, that's great. Just if you want to swap, do it. That's fine. But that's only from us. I can't see that changing because so few people want 17. It'll probably get phased out eventually. Right, okay, so basically you said you are making a new bezel for the 19-inch Arcooda, so it sounds to me like they're asking why you can't make a 17 bezel for the 17. We already do a 17-inch IPS. Look, that one there. We already got it. There it is. As I said, there's 250 bezels made. They're on their way over when they arrive, and I've got 77, I think. So I know it's a weird number. 77 17-inch panels, and all we're going to do is we're going to take the 19-inch ones out and put in the 17 and ship them out. So it's kind of a swap. It's a straight swap, but the bezel's made. It's there. He just needs a kit. Oh, yes, I remembered. I think I've had this discussion. A separate kit. That's right. If someone wanted to be able to buy a 17-inch bezel and panel, if you've got a 19-inch monitor and you change your mind, well, maybe, but I can't. It'll have to be a separate order because I'll have to manually do that. If you really need to, then potentially, but it'll be quite expensive. I don't even. Have we got box? Well, you're gonna have to pay for separate shipping. It's not, I guarantee, gonna go out with the monitor. Can't do that. It's just too. It just makes life too complicated. But maybe later on, if you want to downgrade to a 17. But the monitors are what they are. If you want a 17, buy a 17. If you want a 19, buy a 19. If you want to buy so you can have both for some reason, maybe later on, once we've shipped these, then we can maybe talk about it then. But not initially. It's too much. Any news on Sync on Green? No. Right, but it says that Mark can't get a 17 kit to turn a 19 into a 17. I don't understand what the issue is. Order a 17. I'm sorry. I'm confused. You want to buy a 19-inch monitor and then have a 17 kit as well. I'm sure there's a reason, but let me get all these out of the way, because I said I'll have spare bezels, and we'll probably have panels, so we can sort something out later, but not initially, because we've got just too much to do, and I don't have a box to put it in safely. We got nothing to package it up safely, so maybe later on. A question regarding the pods. The bottom pod is the one that should always stay in, right? Yeah, because if you move it somewhere else, it won't work. If I buy a scalar pod and a Mr. Pod, does the order matter? No, it doesn't. They can either go in slot 1 or slot 2, and you can reverse them. In fact, it depends how you want. I usually put the scalar at the top. The reason for that is the Wi-Fi chip is at the top. You'll get a better communication because it's metal frames, and if you embed them underneath in the middle, it might be more tricky for the Wi-Fi to communicate. So I tend to put the scalar at the top. Does the scalar have to be on top with the mist in the middle, or vice versa? You can put it either way. Makes no difference. Any of the top 2 cards, you can put them either way. It doesn't matter. And the mister doesn't plug in anyway, so you know. Right. Okay. I think I've covered everything. If there's any more questions, you got about a minute to put them in. So again, thanks for backing the project. And I'm sorry I keep moaning about paying the balances, but if you haven't paid your balance, could you pay the balance, because it does help. You might find you pay your balance and you're in the first batch. If you've already paid once, if you haven't paid your balance but you've already paid by card once before and you pay, you've already got your place in the queue. So, yeah, I think that'll do. I don't think there's anything else. I will now go and do something else. Probably go down, sit down, watch a bit of telly for an hour, and then go to bed. But I will probably do another video next week. Probably not the following week, because in theory that's when everything arrives and I'll be busy. So it's unlikely I'll do one then. I'll probably do a little video. Look, look at everything. But I'll more than likely do one next Monday. I don't think it's going to be anything really, because you know you're all pretty much up to date. But I'll probably do one because I can't do the one the following week. But yeah, we're not far off. We're not far off shipping these out now, so I'll be happier once they're out. Then it's the one thing I will say. Obviously the future of this product depends on positive reviews, and don't read into that. What I don't want is knee-jerk reactions. So when you get it, if there's an issue that you think there's a problem, come back to us and ask the question, because it'll probably be a simple answer, and then you can go happily on your way. But I know some people, they'll want to do a video, go, oh no, this don't work, and then I'll just have to make a video to show you everyone. Really. Having said that, if you've got criticisms and they're founded, go for it, right? Seriously, I mean, I do plan on, we want to make this a good product. We will listen to everything, except the the type we won't listen to, but we will listen to everything, and we will, evolve this product over the next couple of years. But I think we're a good way there. And everyone who sees it loves it. I just, I get a bit obviously nervous, because once you get it out into people, I was like it with the cases. I was worried people wouldn't be able to build them, but they did, and I never had any problems with the cases. It was brilliant. So hopefully it'll be the same with the monitors. Again, if you do have problems, come to me first, and then if it's something that it's just if it is something that's disappointed you and we can't resolve it, go for it. Yeah, just do that first, because that's going to be crucial, the early stages, because people, if there's any unfounded real negativity that's not really it's not an issue, it will cause problems. So anyway, that's it thanks so much. I will talk to you probably next week. Try and find the end stream button. Thanks for joining in. It's been great. It's been quite a lot of people. It's about 130 people on this, so that's pretty cool. I will speak to you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.